So we start our sessions by invoking the blessings of the acharyas. So once we have the blessings of our disciplic succession, then I'm also able to speak something. Krishna will inspire me to speak. So this is like a homage to our acharyas. So as I told you, Divya, that there is a unbroken disciplic succession which is mentioned in the at the end of introduction of Bhagavad Gita. So actually, by the blessings of our spiritual masters, we are able to speak something. We are able to transmit the pure transcendental knowledge. Raj Vidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshravagam Dharmam Susukham Kartamapya. Okay, so let us start by invoking the blessings of the acharyas. Om Jnanativinandasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanto Radha Kanto Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalputrobhyasya Kripa Sandubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please chant Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
One last time. Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare
Rama 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 Hare.
Hare Hare.
Okay. Hare Krishna, very warm welcome to all of you. So today we will start by reading 17th verse of Upanishad. So we are about to end this book. So Ishopanishad is one of the Upanishads. So in the Vedic literature there are many Puranas and many Upanishads. Right? There are 18 Puranas. Ashtadash Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachandvayam. Right? You might, if you have taken Sanskrit in your school, you might have heard this verse. So there are 18 Puranas. Like first six Puranas belong, they elevate you to mode of goodness. The next six Puranas, they elevate you to like what you can do if you are in mode of passion, how you can elevate yourself from mode of passion. And last six Puranas, they will tell you how you can act inside mode of ignorance, how you can elevate from mode of ignorance. So Upanishads also, there are many Upanishads. There is Katha Upanishad, there is Varaha Upanishad. So many Upanishads are there. One of which is Isha Upanishad. And Isha Upanishad's main focus is to basically understand who is Krishna and what is our relationship with Krishna. So Ishopanishad starts with the invocation Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyati. So the Supreme Lord is completely complete, and all the emanations from the Lord are also complete. For example, we are a spirit soul, and we are part and parcel of Krishna. We are emanations from Krishna itself, and this material world also has coming out of Krishna only. Krishna, at the time of creation, Garbhodakasha Vishnu glances on the Mahatattva, and it impregnates the Mahatattva with spirit souls, and actually the material cosmic manifestation comes into being. So as a spirit soul also, whatever body we are getting, that is complete. This body has complete architecture, complete design for digesting, for eating, for assimilating, for excreting, for walking, for running, for thinking, for intelligence, right? So like it is only in this human form of life that we have this special intelligence where we can inquire. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Kim, Kiyami. So how we can inquire who are we? Are we really this body, or are we just a spirit soul which is residing in our heart? So we can inquire more. Furthermore, what is the purpose of our life? How we can execute Krishna consciousness and how we can fulfill the purpose by executing Krishna consciousness. So that purpose is highlighted in the first verse of Ishopanishad. That is the Ishavashyam idam sarvam yat kinchat jagatyam jagat tena taktena bhanjata ma gridha kasya sviddhanam. So everything animate and inanimate is coming out of the Lord, and Lord is the proprietor. And for every living entity, Lord has given a quota. For example, there is a dog, right? Dog has a female dog. Dog has two babies. Dog has some road on which he can sleep. Dog has some bones, some biscuits he can eat. Dog can make loving exchanges with his like baby dogs and his wife. So these all those things are his quota. For example, a devotee has a quota. This house, it is like the temporary owner for this house is me. So I can use it in Krishna's service. So I have this quota. And when we make good use of this quota by engaging that in Krishna's service, then our quota increases. So we might have heard of terms like circle of influence and circle of concern, right? So we have to act within our circle of influence because concern might be there, but our energy might not be so much that we act on that portion. So we have to act within our circle of influence where we can influence things which we have control over, which Krishna has given us some power of attorney to act on them. So when we act on them nicely, when we depend on the Lord, when we act as an instrument of Krishna, then that circle of influence expands. Then Krishna might make you more opulent. Krishna might make you more devotees, like make you meet more devotees, and then your influence will expand and your bhakti will also expand. But if you don't follow this Ishavashyam principle, then you go to hellish planets. And if you follow, then you can live hundreds of years. So this is a principle which helps you to live in mode of goodness, because within your quota also you are acting in mode of service as an humble servant of your spiritual master, and you are nicely doing your duties, and you have no anxiety because you are always feeling the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So there is no anxiety. It is all you are experiencing the spiritual world by the mercy of the spiritual master. So, and when you practice Ishavashyam principle, then you can realize the other characteristics of the Lord. For example, the Lord is like there is a permanent spiritual abode of the Lord, which is Vaikuntha planets, but still, like Lord not only resides in Vaikuntha planets, but He is there in our hearts also. So Krishna can run faster than our minds, and Krishna can Krishna can eat through his ears. Krishna can eat through his nose, and Krishna can do multiple wonderful things. So when we follow Ishavasana principles, then we start understanding the wonders of Krishna, the Satchidananda Vigraha form of Krishna, and we start experiencing those. And when we start experiencing those, then we start seeing others also as spirit souls, and we start having a spiritual conception of this material world. So our entire perspective of seeing this world changes when our Krishna consciousness increases. And then basically there are characteristics of Madhyamadhikari and Uttamadhikari. How Uttamadhikari sees all the living entities as part and parcel of Krishna. Ekatvam anupashyati, right? And the latest verses, the devotee is about to leave his body and he is actually praying to the Lord that whatever pious activities I have done in my life, please remember them and please make me eligible to enter into the spiritual planets. So we are reading these prayers, and this is the culminating point, the pinnacle of Ishopanishad. Okay. So with that introduction, we'll start reading the 17th verse. वायुरनिलम् अमृतं मथेदं भस्मान्तं शरीरम् ॐ क्रतो स्मर कृतं स्मरा क्रतो स्मरा कृतं स्मरा. Okay. Smara means remembering, and kritam means what I have done. So the smara word is used 4 times in this verse, and kritam word is also used 4 times. Let this temporary body be burned to ashes, and let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Now, O my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices. And because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. Purport given by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. The temporary material body is certainly a foreign dress. The Bhagavad Gita 2.20 clearly says that after the destruction of the material body, the living entity is not annihilated, nor does he lose his identity. The identity of the living entity is never impersonal or formless. On the contrary, it is the material dress that is formless and that takes a shape according to the form of the indestructible person. So this body is also just a manifestation, is just a reflection of our subtle body. So when we die, we actually go into next material body, which authorities have decided for us. But this spirit soul also has a form, but this body doesn't have a very defined form, right? So when the spirit travels to the next body, the subtle body travels with the soul. So depending on the subtle body which we have formed, depending on our activities in this life, for example, if you do Krishna Bhakti, then your senses become spiritualized, and you are able to perceive more more subtle things, right? And then you can go. So depending on that, you will get a sattvic body, mode of goodness body, where you will like things doing things in mode of goodness. For example, you will like cows, you will like farm communities, you will like peace, you will like to stay peaceful, and you will like to wake up early in the morning, you will like cleanliness. All these things are mode of goodness characteristics. So depending on the modes which we have developed in our subtle body, we get the next body. And if we become transcendental, then basically we can enter the spiritual planets. No living entity is originally formless, as is wrongly thought by those with a poor fund of knowledge. This mantra verifies the fact that the living entity exists after the annihilation of the material body. Yeah. So actually today Maharaj was telling that prayers are also like are one of the limb of devotional service. So Prahlad Maharaj has told 9 limbs of devotional service. Anybody knows? Pragya Mataji or Prabjit Prabhu? Yes, Prabhu, yes. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam.
And Pranam.
Prabhuji, it's Labdha Bhakti, na?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dases, Satyam, Atmanivedana.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. So Bandhanam is one of the limbs of Naveda Bhakti. So if we do this, so this is a verse quoted by Prahlad Maharaj to Hiranyakashipu. So Narsimha Chaturdashi is also on the corner. Like on Wednesday there is Narsimha Chaturdashi. So actually Hiranyakashipu sent Prahlad Maharaj into a school, and that was an atheistic school where he was trying to teach Prahlad Maharaj politics, diplomacy, and how we can kill Vishnu. Like there is no Vishnu. Like that, he wanted to teach him godlessness, atheisticness. And like after 2 3 days of school, Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, "What have you learned in your school?" And then Prahlad Maharaj, he said, what Prabjit Prabhu shared just now. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedinam. So Hiranyakashipu was shocked that I am sending him to atheistic school and he is telling me that you should do bhakti and you should hear about Krishna. So he became very angry. He approached Shandai and Amarka, the teachers of that school, that what are you teaching him? So then Shandai and Amarka told Prahlad ki, told Hiranyakashipu that we are teaching only diplomacy and all the atheistic sciences only, but what has already been taught to Prahlad, he cannot forget. Nothing goes. We say money, he hears honey, and even his batchmates were becoming devotees. They were asking, "Ki what is happening?" Prahlad, they are saying money, you are hearing honey. How is it like? How are you Krishna conscious? Then Prahlad Maharaj tells to his batchmates, Kamaramacharetragyo dharman bhagavatan purusham manusham loke. So like this, he says that if you practice Krishna consciousness from this age, then you can also become like me. You can also feel Krishna in everything. People will say money, but you will feel honey. So like this, Prahlad Maharaj's Krishna consciousness was very strong because he heard from Narada Muni for 1,000 celestial years in the womb of Kayadu. And in his previous birth also, he was a son of a Brahmana. So he had a lot of gratitude for his spiritual master, and he was totally absorbed in that knowledge. And that's why, like when Narsimhadev asks him that asks for a boon, then he says, "How can I leave the service of the person who has pulled me out of the ahikupa? Evam janam nipaditam prabhavahi kupe kama vikamam manuyat prapatan prasanga kritvatmasat surishino bhagavan vihitam soham gatam tava vritta seva." So tava vritta seva, right? So a spiritual master who has pulled me out of this ahikupa, how can I forget? How can I forget? And how can I be great? Like without gratitude to him. So I just want to cultivate my gratitude to him. So Vandanam is the most important limb of devotional service out of the 9 limbs. And prayers also you can do in different modes: mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness, mode of transcendence also. So in mode of goodness, we are always wishing well for the other person. We are trying to do good. And in mode of transcendence, we are trying to please Krishna. We are trying to spread the message of Krishna to others. We are trying to give the holy name to others. We are trying to feed them prasadam. So, and in mode of ignorance, we are just basically we are doing foolish things. Well, and in mode of passion, we are praying for completing our activities. For example, we want to buy a car, or we want to buy a new castle, to build a new castle. And in mode of ignorance, we are actually wishing ill for others. Okay, this person should die. This person should. I'm very envious of this person. Oh Lord, please take. Please try to do something negative to this person. I'm very jealous of this person. So those are prayers in mode of ignorance. Yeah, but actually, a devotee should be in mode of goodness, and ultimately, he has to transcend goodness also by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and taking the association of devotees. And he has to come to transcendence. Okay. So when we come to transcendence, then we can understand that we are spirit soul. And even in this material world, we can live a spiritual life on the spiritual platform. इहायस्य हरे हृदास्य कर्मणा मनसा गिरा निखलस्वपि अवस्थासु जीवन मुक्त स उच्यते. So इहायस्य हरे हृदास्य. So if we can engage in the service of Hari, karmana manasa gira. If we engage our activities, if we engage our mind, and if we engage our body in the service of Krishna, then we can Jivan Mukta Sa Uchyate. Even in this material world, even in this material body, we can experience liberation. So that is the peace formula. In the material world, material nature displays wonderful workmanship by creating varieties of bodies for the living beings according to their propensities for sense gratification. The living entity who wants to taste stool is given a material body that is quite suitable for eating stool, that of a hog. Similarly, one who wants to eat the flesh and blood of other animals may be given a tiger's body equipped with suitable teeth and claws. But the human being is not meant for eating flesh, nor does he have any desire to taste stool, even in the most aboriginal state. Human teeth are so made that they can chew and cut fruit and vegetables, although there are two canine teeth so that primitive humans can eat flesh if they so desire. So actually, whatever propensities, whatever vasanas you develop in this life, whatever likings, predilections you develop, accordingly you get the next life. And actually, Prabhupada is describing entirely the Bhagavad Gita plate, which is there. You might, like some of you might have seen that plate, right? That if you sleep a lot like a bear, then you become a bear in the next life. If you eat a lot of animals, if you are very fond of drinking blood and eating meat, then you become a tiger. If you are fond of eating stool, then you become a hog. You become swine in the next life. If you are fond of exposing a lot, then you become a tree. Krishna says, okay. So the more we act on the bodily platform, the more we expose and all those things, then our degree of freedom is actually reduced. So that's why these four regulative principles are actually the regulative principles of freedom only. They are not regulative. They are actually giving us spiritual freedom. you will feel very, very free. You will free lot of happiness within, lot of happiness, lot of connection with Krishna within. Yastvatmarati revasya atmatriptasya manava atmanyeva cha santushtas tasya karyam na vidyate. So one feels a lot of satisfaction and a lot of happiness within. And then, like, even there are some material desires, we don't act on them because a devotee feels so full within himself that he doesn't need to act on those desires. Those desires are just like rivers which are going entering into the ocean. The ocean remains still, but only the rivers they are moving. But the ocean remains peaceful. So the devotee is like that ocean in which the material desires are entering like the river, but the devotee is fixed in his service. Okay. So actually, human life is meant for self-realization because we cannot eat too much, we cannot have sex too much, we cannot sleep too much. Anything we do too much on the bodily platform, we feel frustrated, right? There is certain quota to which we can enjoy. If you see elephant, he can eat tons of food. If you see dogs, they can do a lot of sex. They can reproduce. If you see if you see polar bear, he can sleep for 9 months together. They remain happy in that state. But in the human body, you cannot experience happiness if you do any material activity, any bodily activity too much. There is a certain quota which helps us to like keep this body fit, rejuvenated, that we should do, and rest of the time we should spend for cultivating spiritual realization, self-realization. And that is best done in the association of devotees by reading Prabhupada books and by hearing from them. Okay. So anybody wants to read next paragraph? Pragya Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yeah, good.
But in any case, the material bodies of all animals and men are foreign to the living entity. They change according to the living entity's desire for sense gratification. In the cycle of evolution, the living entity changes body one after another. When the world was full of water, the living entity took an aquatic form. Then he passed to vegetable life, from vegetable life to worm life, from worm life to bird life, from bird life to animal life, and from animal life to human form. The highest developed form is this human form when it is possessed of a full sense of spiritual knowledge. The highest development of one's spiritual sense is described in this mantra. One should give up the material body, which will be turned to ashes, and allow the air of life to merge into the eternal reservoir of air. The living being's activities are performed within the body through the movements of different kinds of air, known in summary as pranavayu. The yogis generally study how to control the airs of the body. The soul is supposed to rise from one circle of air to another until it rises to the Brahmarandra, the highest circle. From that point, the perfect yogi can transfer himself to any planet he likes. The process is to give up one material body and then enter into another. But the highest perfection of such changes occurs only when the living entity is able to give up the material body altogether. As suggested in this mantra, the and enter into the spiritual atmosphere where he can develop a completely different type of body, a spiritual body which never has to meet death or change.
Hmm. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. You want to explain a little bit? Whatever you have understood from this paragraph.
Yes, Prabhuji, जो yogis कंट्रोल देयर सेंसेस कंट्रोल मतलब कंट्रोल करते हैं जो प्राणवायु को एयर को कंट्रोल करते हैं प्रभु जी
Yeah. So
और
basically,
जो
the life airs they can elevate. So ultimately, the soul is residing in the heart, but there are different circles in our body where the life air can reside. Suppose if your stomach is not well, then there is a circle which just beneath our Nabi. What do you call Nabi in English? I'm forgetting. Okay, just below the Nabi, there is a circle. There is a circle in the heart, and then there is a circle on forehead. So if your ears are aligned, then you will feel Brahma Tejas. Like most of your spiritual energy is in your mind. You will not lose your energy anywhere else, in your abdomen or in your leg, in your hands. So the yogis do that. They concentrate the life air in their forehead. And if the soul at the time of death, if the soul leaves through the forehead, then for sure they have achieved higher planets. And many yogis who are doing this and concentrating these things, like concentrating the life air in the Brahmarandra, they can actually decide also which planet to go to. So Prabhupada is saying here is that ultimately we should not just hanker for heavenly planets or just take another like any like sumptuous body like Indra, but we should altogether get rid of the material body and enter into the spiritual planets. So that is the best. That is what is suggested in this mantra. Okay. And generally, like this human body is very, very precious. Hemana durlabha manava deho, right? There is a bhajan by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaja Ure Mana, Sri Nandanandana. So this human life we get after a lot of hard work. We had to make the hard work of traveling through 8,400,000 species. And after that, we get the human form, as it is told here. That first we are a vegetable, then we transform into worm, then bird, then animal life, then finally we get the human life. And human life is the only life where you can think about God and you can go elevate yourself, elevate your consciousness, and go to higher planets and spiritual planets. So human form is very, very precious and we should use it in a very wise manner. This human body can be used to make spiritual advancement. Yeah. आहार निद्रा भयमथुनाम च सामान्यत पशुभिर नाराणाम धर्मो ही एको विशेषो धर्मे नहीं ना पशुभिर समान. So eating, sleeping, mating, depending, everybody is doing. But actually these activities are animal activities. And if you don't understand dharma, if you don't follow dharma, then you are no better than animals. So human life means you should do something about something about dharma. So previously, Bhagavad Gita, everybody used to know. Like in every village, in Vedic times, every village there used to be a pure devotee who used to guide the entire village how to follow your varna, follow your ashrama, because he knew Bhagavad Gita by heart, and he was teaching the entire village also Bhagavad Gita, how you can progress in your relationship with Krishna. But these days nobody knows. Like previously everybody used to know. Even now also in South India, many people are aware that if we like Bhagavad Gita is just like a bread and butter. We like just like when you buy a car, there is a manual. Similarly, when you buy this body, Bhagavad Gita is like the manual which will tell you how you can use this body in Krishna's service and make spiritual advancement. So these days also, like some people are there who knows, but we have to preach because atheism is increasing. So we have to preach the message of Bhagavad Gita, and we have to be compassionate and merciful on the innocent, and then preach to them. Yes, Amandro, we want to read next paragraph.
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Here in the material world, material nature forces the living entity to change his body due to his different desires for sense gratification. These desires are represented in various species of life, from germs to the most perfected material bodies, those of Brahma and the demigods. All of these living entities have bodies composed of matter in different shapes. The intelligent man sees oneness not in the variety of the bodies but in the spiritual identity. The spiritual spark, which is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is the same whether he is in a body of hog or in the body of a demigod. The living entity takes on different bodies according to his pious and vicious activities. The human body is highly developed and has full consciousness. According to Bhagavad Gita, the most perfect man surrenders unto the Lord after many, many lifetimes of culturing knowledge. The culture of knowledge reaches perfection only when the knower comes to the point of surrendering unto the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva. Otherwise, Even after attaining knowledge of one's spiritual identity, if one does not come to the point of knowing that the living entities are eternal parts and parcel of whole and can never become the whole, one has to fall down again into the material atmosphere. Indeed, one must fall down even if he has become one with the Brahma Jyoti.
Hmm. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Very nicely read. Yeah, so Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanvan Mam Prapadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Yeah. So actually, like today also Maharaj was telling that it is very easy to chant 16 rounds. It is very easy to attend Mangalarti. It is very easy to offer Bhoga to the Lord. But it is very difficult to surrender to the Lord. Because that surrendering attitude comes after millions of births when we have assimilated this knowledge in our heart. Only understanding that we are this body, we are not this body, we are spirit soul is not sufficient. We have to ultimately recognize the presence of the Lord within our heart, within the deities, within each and other soul also. And then we have to surrender to that Lord within our heart. Then we will be able to see all the other spirit souls. Vidyavane Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Cheva Sapagecha Pandita Samadarshina. So a Brahmana, a Pandit, he sees the dog, the elephant, and the human being all at the same level, all at the spirit soul level. So this happens by a lot of assimilation and lot of nice guidance received over multiple births actually. And if we are able to receive such guidance from expert devotees, then we should never leave their lotus feet. All the time we should take their guidance. We should depend on the Lord, and whenever, like we should, as an act of gratitude, we should live our life, and when well, we should ask for guidance from them. Yeah. Then we will be able to achieve this stage of surrender to the Lord. Anything you want to share, Prabhu, Aman Prabhu, from this?
From me,
Yeah, yes, Prabhu, yes. Anything you want to
yeah.
explain or anything?
No, in the same point, like Prabhupada is describing that means after so many bodies, means changing bodies, and we had different desires, and we came to this platform where we are understanding that there is a supreme Lord, means Krishna is there, and he is the supreme Lord, and we should surrender. So. So we should act on it. We should try to do it. We should follow it. And here also Prabhupada mentions that even if we become demigods like Brahma or Indra, but we have to come back, and again there will be a fall down. So there is no fixed thing, but only one thing is there, that if we surrender to the Supreme Lord, then only we can be. Then only our anxieties we will be free of anxieties.
Yeah, yes. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Hare
So yeah, so ultimately we should aspire for the spiritual world, and for that we have to do pure devotional service. In every situation, we have to see Krishna, because if we just start, if we just keep on doing pious activities, and for example, doing sacrifices or feeding prasadam or any other pious activities, then we might take up this demigod body or Brahma body, but there that is also not spiritual. That is not spiritual world. Brahma also has an age of 100 years. He dies. He also has disease. He also has birth, old age, disease. So all those problems which comes with a material body, those are there with the demigods also. So it's only when we enter the spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka. So there are three Vaikuntha Lokas in this material world also, which is one is Rama Vaikuntha, the other is Dhruva Loka, and third one is Shweta Tipa, right? Today Maharaj was telling. So we have to aspire to achieve these planets. And Golok Vrindavan, ultimately, if we can aspire for, if we can taste the Madhurya Rasa and we can feel a connect with Radharani and Krishna, then we can see our path towards Golok Vrindavan. But achieving Vaikuntha is always, that is also recommended. Like these are all spiritual planets. There is Narsimha Vaikuntha also, and there are many other Vaikuntha planets. Okay. So as we have learned from previous mantras, the Brahmajyoti emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord is full of spiritual sparks that are individual entities with a full sense of existence. Sometimes these living entities want to enjoy their senses, and therefore they are placed in the material world to become false lords under the dictation of the senses. Yeah. So actually these senses which we are carrying, they belong to Krishna. These senses are not meant for sense gratification. When we engage our senses in the enjoyer of the senses Rishikesh, then automatically our senses become purified and our senses feel satisfaction because of the bhakti rasa, because of the exchanges of the rasas between us and Krishna. So these senses, but when we rebel against the Lord, when we want to enjoy independently of the Lord, then Lord asks us 3 4 times, are you really, do you really want to rebel? And Lord's heart is very like pained. He has a lot of pain. Okay, this living entity is also going to go away from my connection. So then Lord arranges a material world where he arranges the Vedas, he arranges the demigods, and he says, okay, you go, you enjoy independent of me, but at least you follow the Vedic rules and regulations so that you can at least be safe within that Vedic paradigm, and you completely enjoy, you satisfy your material desires, and after satisfying those, you come back to me. So that is our, so if we stay in the paradigm of Vedic rules and regulations, then it is more safer. Like within Vedas, we can enjoy our senses within by offering it to Krishna, right? And when our heart is purified, then we can completely dedicate our life to Krishna. So there are 3 stages in which we offer our activities to Krishna, right? The first one is Karmarpanam. So Karmarpanam means we offer the activities to Krishna. So the initial is like when we offer the fruits of activities to Krishna. And the second stage is Karmarpanam, where we do the activities as a sacrifice to Krishna. And the third one is Kimkara. Like even the activities which we are choosing, those are not our choice. Like whatever activity Krishna gives, whatever activity spiritual master gives, I am in that. I will do that activity as an instrument of Krishna. So in the first, we are giving the fruits of our activities to Krishna, and on the second, like on the first level, and on the second level, we are like doing those activities as a sacrifice to Krishna, Karmarpanam, and the third is Kimkara, that a devotee does some service and then approaches the spiritual master and says, okay, give me another service. Kim Kara, give me another service. Kim Kara. So like this, he goes on completing his service, and that is his pleasure. That is the spiritual world actually. A devotee is always serving and experiencing the bhakti rasa. Yeah. In this mantra, the living entity prays to enter the spiritual kingdom of God after relinquishing his material body and material air. The devotee prays to the Lord to remember his activities and the sacrifices he has performed before his material body is turned into ashes. He makes this prayer at the time of death with full consciousness of his past deeds and of the ultimate goal. One who is completely under the rule of material nature remembers the heinous activities he performed during the existence of his material body, and consequently he gets another material body after death. The Bhagavad Gita confirms this truth. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejati ante kalevaram tam tamevati kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Thus the mind carries the living entity's propensities into the next life. Okay, so this is the art of dying. Like there are many books, Surrender Unto Me, and there are many books by Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, I think, on art of dying, how we can die nicely. Because at the time of death, we are in a very, very painful condition. All the organs are they are failing, and there is a lot of pain in the body. So there is a lot of pressure on the subtle body. So in that pressure, there is a movie which goes on, whatever we have done in this lifetime, whatever whatever things have made a deep impression on our psyche, they come in front of us. And to whatever impression we are really attached to, that impression sticks, and then we go to the next body according to that impression. And like different authorities tell different stories. Some say that the body is already decided by the authorities according to our karma, according to our sanskara. So it's a match of all the things. But the main thing is we like this life is like a preparation, and death is like the examination. However bhakti you do in this life, how much shelter you can take at the time of death, that will be the test of your preparation. So that's why the difficult situations which come in this life, those are like the ultimate mercy of Krishna, because those difficult situations are helping us to remember Krishna in the adversity also. And that is the real test, whether we will be able to pass the test of death or not, ultimate test of death. So that is the litmus test. Whenever a difficult situation comes, something is which is very, very painful, or a stressful situation in which you have to like call out to the Lord, call out to Krishna, then actually if you pass that test, then you like cultivate more confidence that you will be able to pass the test of death also. That's why there are like the personalities like Radhanath Maharaj and Rampal Maharaj, they are doing so much austerities. Like they are not eating for 3 4 days, they are completely absorbed in Krishna, they're just taking fluids, because they know like the purpose of life is to realize Krishna. And if we come in that consciousness, then we our material needs are minimized, and we are always Krishna conscious, and it's a very blissful life actually. And then we can share this love and compassion with others, just as they are doing. So that's why the purpose of life is to cultivate Krishna bhakti, is to realize that the connection with the Lord, and experience Krishna in every other situation. How every situation, every other situation is connected to the Lord. Yeah. Okay, Himanshu Prabhu, you want to read next paragraph?
Sure. Unlike the Hare Krishna, unlike the simple animals, you have who have no developed mind, the dying human being can remember the activities of his life, like dreams at night. Therefore, his mind remains surcharged with material desires, and consequently, he cannot enter into the spiritual kingdom with the spiritual body. The devotees, however, develop a sense of love for Godhead by practicing devotional service to the Lord. Even at the time of death, a devotee does not remember his service to the Lord. The Lord does not forget him. This prayer is given to remind the Lord of the devotee's sacrifices. But even if there is no such reminder, the Lord does not forget the service rendered by his pure devotee. Hare Krishna. वो अजामिल वाला इंस्टेंस एक्चुअली हर किसी के लिए होता नहीं है ना. म्यूट पे हो रहे प्रभु. You're on mute.
हाँ, you're saying कि अजामिल वाला इंस्टेंस हर किसी के लिए होता नहीं है.
हाँ, क्योंकि नॉर्मली मतलब यू कांट कंट्रोल द सर्कमस्टांसेस इन व्हिच यू आर लिविंग द बॉडी. हर कोई नारायण नारायण नहीं बोल पा रहा बिकॉज पता नहीं ना. तो इट्स बेटर कि मतलब जब कर पाओ राम नाम तो कर लो. बात का पता नहीं एंड मोमेंट पे क्या चल रहा होगा.
हाँ, exactly. So Ajamil, that's what Maharaj was telling yesterday. I asked this question ki how do we remain connected throughout our life? And Maharaj said ki how do you make a call through a phone? How do you make a connection with any other phone? You keep your phone in a very healthy condition. You charge your phone, you know, and the connection should be good. The network connectivity should be very good. The phone should be Android phone. It should not be some old phone. So if you want to connect with the Lord continuously, then you have to keep it very, very polished. You have to take prasadam. You have to chant Hare Krishna. You have to take association of sincere devotees. Actually, when you take association of sincere devotees, that sincerity gets transmitted to you. When you chant sincerely with devotees, that desire to chant sincerely will get transmitted to you. So like this, if we have to prepare ourselves. Just like Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness is like waging a war against Maya. Because We are doing sense gratification for millions of births. And today, now we have decided to surrender to Krishna in one lifetime. How can we go back to Godhead? Unless we prepare ourselves to fight against Maya, to remember Krishna, and to fight. To prepare means, for example, if you are going once a week to temple, you bring lots of prasadam, and you wear tulsi mala, you wear tilak, you take devotee association, you build strong relationships with devotees, and you share your hearts. You do dadati pratigranati with senior devotees, with junior devotees who are sincere, who really want to receive, who really want to give guidance, who are really acting as an instrument of their guru. So when we are feeling connected in this harmonious, synergical environment, where we have devotees, prasadam, holy name, then actually we can practice very nicely. A lot of good chanting will be there. And then we have to cultivate gratitude for what we are receiving. Then every day there will be new realization. Nanavarasadhamni. Every day you will be ecstatic. Okay, today Krishna has given me this realization. So like this, for example, when we read this purport, we get so much realization, so many things we realize from our life. So we might not be so fortunate like Ajamil, as you are telling, ki we have done, like we have named our boy as Narayan, or we have done so much Brahmanical activities. So we have to prepare ourselves. We have to prepare to defeat Maya. Today, one devotee I messaged, she said that I am under Maya, and I will talk to you after 3 weeks. And Maya is also Krishna. You just have to basically somehow you have to have a burning desire to connect with Krishna. Then automatically Maya will go. So Krishna Buliya ji Bhogavancha kare, Pashate Maya tare, Japotiya tare. So when we forget Krishna, then Maya hits us with a slap. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu, go ahead. Aman Prabhu.
Prabhu, I would like to add one point. Like even Ajamila, like he that incident happened with him, but immediately he didn't went to Vaikuntha. He spent 10 to 12 years again in Haridwar and did bhajan. Then again Vishnu Duta came. Then they took. So
Yeah.
even that time he was not purified, and that time they didn't allow him to take back home. So that is also there.
Yes, Rav, yes. A sincere candidate is given opportunity to practice Krishna Bhakti again and again in spite of so many mistakes. I have seen in my life, I have spent 11 years in Krishna consciousness. I have made so many blunders. I have made so many mistakes with other devotees, dealing with other devotees. But again and again, I have to beg forgiveness. I have to reinstate myself in my service. I have to reinstate myself in my preaching, in my chanting. So we have to become sincere. And as Aman Prabhu is saying that what Himanshu Prabhu is highlighting is just the starting. Like there was a controversy, there was a great dialogue between Yamduta and Vishnuduta only because of his pious credits, and he was given a second chance, and he perfected his life by that second chance. So at least we should prepare ourselves to so that we get a second chance. At least we should name our children Lord's name. We should, whenever we are sane, we should try to worship the Lord. We should try to chant Hare Krishna. In the initial days, he was doing those things only. He was bringing flowers from the forest when he saw the prostitute and his lover. So even there, at that time, he was trying to do service for the Lord. So we have to engage. We have to increase our devotion actually. Anna, understood, Ivanshu? Ivanshu, bro.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So there are
Like,
levels of devotion, and you are like you have to somehow climb up those ladders. So you can't remain on step one always. Then, Anna?
yeah, yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, and the best, the very fast advancement happens by the association of devotees. For example, in this group now, there is Pragya Mataji, Prabjit Prabhu, Aman Prabhu, all are very sincere devotees. So you are very fortunate. All the new devotees are very fortunate to be a part of this group because there are devotees who are practicing for some time and very sincere. Okay, so we have to increase our sincerity, our intensity, and then Krishna will reciprocate. Then Krishna will take us. Okay, next paragraph. Prabjit, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The Lord clearly describes his intimate relationship with his devotees in the Bhagavad Gita 9.30 to 34. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. He quickly becomes righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. O son of Pratha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, as well as Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmins, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to the temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me, engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, and worship me, being completely absorbed in me. Surely you will come to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada, as it is, he has, I think, copy pasted the translation from 9.30 to 34. Yeah. So actually, even if the lower species like women, Vaishyas, and Shudras, they are getting so much benefited by taking shelter of the Lord. What to speak of kings and Brahmanas? Immediately they feel Krishna when they take shelter of Krishna. So that is there. Basically, the more you intensify, the more you condense your bhakti, the devotion. Immediately, as soon as you utter Krishna, immediately you feel Krishna. So that's how we have to condense, intensify our devotion. Then it will be very easy. Like there will be nothing wanting you. Anartha nivritti also will be very fast, and there will be very less layers. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmana te dvanda mohanir vimukta bhajante mam drinavrata. So one whose sinful activities have been purified. Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmana. Those who have done pious activities in their past lives. Te dvanda mohanir mukta. They become free from dvanda and moha, duality and illusion. And they can engage themselves in bhajante mam dhrinavrata. They can engage themselves in Hari Bhajan with lot of determination and faith. So that's why the more you have this burning desire to do bhajan, to take association of devotees, the faster the sinful activities, the reactions will be melting by that bhakti shakti. Okay. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains these verses in this way. One should regard a devotee of Krishna to be on the right path of the saints, even though such a devotee may seem to be Suduracha, a person of loose character. One should try to understand the real purport of the word Suduracha. A conditioned soul has required for double functions, namely for the maintenance of the body and again self-realization. Social. So this is a hypocrite situation basically. We have to maintain the body also, and like while maintaining the body, while we are eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then also we have to think about Krishna, how we can do these four activities in a pure way. So it's a difficult situation for a conditioned soul, but still we have to keep trying in proper association. Social status, mental development, cleanliness, austerity, nourishment, and the struggle for existence are all for the maintenance of the body. The self realization part of one's activities is executed in one's occupation as a devotee of the Lord. And one performs actions in that connection also. One must perform these two different functions along parallel lines because a conditioned soul cannot give up the maintenance of his body. Hmm. So our maintenance of the body should be done like that so that we can remember Krishna, so that our taste for hearing and chanting increases. Otherwise, Shramevihi Kevalam, right? The proportion of activities for maintenance of the body decreases, however, in proportion to the increase in devotional service. As long as the proportion of devotional service does not come to the right point, there is a chance for an occasional exhibition of worldliness. But it should be noted that such worldliness cannot continue for long because by the grace of the Lord, such imperfections will come to an end very shortly. Therefore, the path of devotional service is the only right path. If one is on the right path, even an occasional occurrence of worldliness does not hamper one in the advancement of self realization. So, actually, we have to increase our devotional service. whoever, like now Narsimha Chaturdashi is coming, so whoever is chanting 2 rounds, they should chant 4 rounds. Whoever is chanting 16 rounds, try to chant 25 rounds, especially on Narsimha Chaturdashi. So when we increase our devotional activities, then the amount of energy which is to be spent in maintaining the body, that decreases. For example, our Goswamis, they used to just drink 1 glass of buttermilk, or they might go 1 glass of milk also they might drink. So for the entire day, they used to drink only 1 glass of buttermilk and 1 glass of milk. That's it. And they were entirely absorbed in Krishna. So they were directly talking to Radharani. So they are classic examples where they actually the proportion of activities for maintenance of body has gone so much low that because of the increase of devotion service, they were sleeping only 2 3 hours. It's not that they were very skinny, like they were perfectly fit and they were very joyful, and they were sharing Krishna with so many authorities. They were writing books. Their consciousness was so high, so absorbed in Krishna. Yeah. Goswami was doing Swarasiki chanting. Like one time he was chanting the holy name and he was entering into the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. So one time Radharani, I think she jumped from a tree. She left the branch of a tree. So there was a laugh which one of the gopis made. So while chanting, while doing Swarasiki chanting, while he was in seeing that pastime, this gopi laughed, and then this Rupa Goswami also laughed because of that laugh of gopi, because he was so much absorbed in that pastime. And then there was a passing like elderly brahmana, and he thought he was limping. He was he was not healthy. He was limping. His back was not straight. So he thought ki Rupa Goswami was laughing on me. So he became angry. He got offended, and immediately Rupa Goswami lost his absorption in the pastime. He again and again tried by chanting the holy name. He can enter the pastime. He could not enter because this devotee got offended. This devotee. So Rupa Goswami consulted this with his elder brother Sanatan Goswami, and then Sanatan Goswami said that you keep a feast and you invite this devotee whom you have offended, and let him have this feast. So this devotee who got offended, who was limping, he got this. He ate at this feast, and then again Rupa Goswami got entry into the Swarasiki chanting. So like this, Goswamis are totally absorbed, and they are only concerned about how they can progress towards Krishna, how they can absorb themselves in hearing, chanting, discussing about Krishna, because they know that everything else will be taken care of by Krishna. So those who are completely absorbed, like Krishna takes care of them. Krishna protects them. Krishna maintains them. Every small thing Krishna arranges. Every pure devotees, Krishna arranges every minute thing in their life. Okay. The facilities of devotional service are denied the impersonalists because they are attached to the Brahmajyoti feature of the Lord. As suggested in the previous mantras, they cannot penetrate the Brahmajyoti because they do not believe in the personality of Godhead. Their business is mostly word jugglery and mental speculation. Consequently, the impersonalists pursue a fruitless labor, as confirmed in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So impersonalists actually they don't believe in the form of the Lord, and that's why they don't want to. They don't go beyond the Brahmajyoti. So they keep saying that you are also Brahman, I am also Brahman, you are also Bhagavan, I am also Bhagavan. So like this, they don't have the right conception that we are part and parcel of Krishna, and we are meant to serve Krishna. And when we serve Krishna, we feel a connect with Krishna, and then we feel the bhakti rasa flowing in our hearts with that Krishna. Yeah. Okay. Next paragraph, who wants to read? Anybody wants to read?
Yeah, Prabhu.
You want to read? Okay. I want to read.
All the facilities suggested in the mantra can be easily obtained by constant contact with personal feature of the absolute truth. Devotional service to the Lord consists essentially of 9 transcendental activities: hearing about the Lord, glorifying the Lord, remembering the Lord, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping the Lord. Sixth is offering prayers to the Lord. Seven is serving the Lord. 8 is enjoying friendly association with the Lord, and 9 is surrendering everything unto the Lord. These 9 principles of devotional service, taken all together or one by one, helps a devotee remain constant in touch with the God. In this way, at the end of life, it is easy for the devotee to remember the Lord. By adopting only one of these 9 principles, the following renowned devotees of the Lord were able to achieve the highest perfection. By hearing of the Lord, Maharaja Parikshit, the hero of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained the desired result. Just by glorifying the Lord, Sukadev Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained his perfection. By praying to the Lord, Akrura attained the desired result. 4. By remembering the Lord, Prahlada Maharaj attained the desired result. By worshipping the Lord, Prithu Maharaj attained perfection. By serving the lotus feet of the Lord, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi attained perfection. By rendering personal service to the Lord, Hanuman attained the desired result. Through, the, through his friendship with the Lord, Arjuna attained the desired result. By surrendering everything he had to the Lord, Maharaja Bali attained the desired result.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. So these are all personalities who are representing, who have perfected one of the limbs of devotional service. So maybe we can do a group discussion here, like uh, which one of these 9 personalities do you idealize the most? For example, if you are doing devotional service, then who is your ideal? Who is your role model? And how do you relate to him? And maybe whatever devotional experiences you have, then are there any realizations which are very similar to that character? How do you relate? Okay, is the question understood? Can we do a sort of discussion on this? Okay, Aman Prabhu is saying Hanuman. So okay, you can take 1 or 2 minutes. Is the question understood, Pragya Mataji, Prabjit Prabhu?
नो प्रभु जी,
Can,
प्रभु जी
can you
नेटवर्क
repeat that?
चला गया था.
Okay, so out of these 9 role models, which one is your favorite role model? How you relate with that role model? And if there are any devotional experiences which you felt in your spiritual journey, that will, you can share that experience also. Why, like, it's an opportunity to glorify that role model also. How do you, where you want to be? Okay, you can take 1 minute. So anybody who wants to share? Yes, bro. Prabjit Robert. You have to switch on your video when you. I think devotees are forgetting that whenever you are speaking, you can switch on.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु।
Okay, so,
यस प्रभु, मैं अगर हमें 9 में से कोई रोल मॉडल चूज करना हो तो मैं प्रहलाद महाराज को करूँगा। जैसे कि प्रभु, हमने देखा कि प्रहलाद महाराज किसी भी कॉस्ट पे, मतलब चाहे वो खाई से गिरे, चाहे वो आग में जलाए उनको, चाहे उन्हें वो मारे, वो अपनी भक्ति नहीं मतलब छोड़ते। तो उन्हें प्रभु एक एक टाइप का ट्रस्ट है गॉड पे कि कुछ भी हो जाए, चाहे कुछ भी सिचुएशन आ जाए, चाहे आंधी आए, बाढ़ आए, वो आएंगे मेरी हेल्प करने। प्रभु, हमें भी एक उस प्रकार का ट्रस्ट होना चाहिए अपनी भक्ति के लिए। हमें अपनी भक्ति पे ट्रस्ट होना चाहिए कि जैसे अगर कुछ भी सिचुएशन हमारे साथ आ जाती है तो हम एकदम से थोड़ा वो हो जाते हैं कि नहीं, हमसे नहीं हो पाएगा, बिल्कुल नहीं हो पाएगा। तो इस टाइप का हमें हमारे अंदर भी ऐसा भी ट्रस्ट होना चाहिए जैसे प्रहलाद महाराज के अंदर था। तो हरे
thank you, Prabjit Prabhu, for sharing. Actually, my ideal is also Prahlad Maharaj only, because Prahlad Maharaj, but only thing required to become Prahlad Maharaj is to hear from a pure devotee continuously and to develop that affection for that pure devotee and that gratitude, and then maintain that affection, gratitude, purity in our life, because that is what a Gurukula system is like. Initially, like the first ashram which we used to enter was Brahmacharya ashram, where we used to live at Gurukula of the Guru, and we used to assimilate spiritual knowledge in our heart, and then rest of the life we used to live a life of uh, dedication to Guru. We are servants of Guru, and we are just spreading what we have assimilated by our Guru. So that's what Prahlad Maharaj is doing, and so much spiritual shelter he was feeling that he was able to make others also feel the same spiritual shelter which he was feeling. His classmates who were demoniac, they were getting transformed into devotees because of his own spiritual shelter. Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Yes, Prabhu, Aman Prabhu.
So, yes, bro, Hare Krishna. So, I would like to share a point of like Hanumanji. Actually,
Yeah.
we all have heard, means all these they are the great devotees, and we should aspire, and we should think that we should try to aspire from everyone. But one of the great devotees of the Lord is Hanumanji, and to whom we means I am personally attached with him. And the reason is because just he didn't did his own bhakti also. He glorified the Lord, and for that he took lots of roles and responsibility. He is here now also, and he will be there till Kali comes. So that is the role of that is the means big people, big acharyas, and big devotees of the Lord. They are doing the same thing. They are not only making their life successful, but they also want that all the jivas, they should be liberated. And that's why means I am more associated with the Hanumanji. And apart from that, whenever Lord needs any help, so or if he wants to make someone, like we have example of Sudarshan and this Garuda. So when they were feeling some, they were having some essence of ego, or like means I am the fastest, and I can kill, means and Sudarshan ji was having ki Krishna is carrying me because I am powerful. So to remove those egos and all, so Lord was taking help from Hanumanji, and Hanumanji also he was understanding those will of the Lord, and means accordingly he reciprocated in that way. So we can see how he is means, and apart from that you can means understand that he is someone who wants to serve the Lord in means in that rasas, like when Sita Maya, she was wearing that means that sindoor. So when Hanumanji he asked, sorry, she was carrying sindoor on his on her forehead. So then at that time Hanuman asked, and he asked from Mata that why you are wearing, means why you are putting this red sindoor on your head. So that time she replied that it pleases to the Lord. So Hanuman came with means red, means he also put all the sindoor on his head, means all faces and all, and he came. So we can see that how much he wants to please the Lord. For that he can go in any way. So that's why.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a great symptom of a devotee. A devotee wants to please the Lord and make arrangements so that other people can also receive Krishna consciousness. And I think this is the foremost symptom of a Madhyamadhikari, that he creates these platforms where people can come and receive Krishna. That's what they want. They want to give Krishna to others. They want to expand the degree of manifestation of Krishna in all the devotees. And that's what Hanuman is doing. Hanuman is doing selfless service to protect Sita Mata while she is in Lanka. And she burns Lanka also because of the ruthless behavior of Ravana. So he is glorifying the Lord. He is like increasing the glories. And by that glorification, so many conditioned souls are getting purified. And they are also going forward in their relationship with Krishna. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. So Divya Mataji, would you like to read next paragraph? You are there.
Yeah,
And if you
I'm
have any
here.
questions, you are feel yeah. If you want to ask any questions or share any understanding, let us know.
Okay. So I'll start reading.
Yeah, you can read.
Actually, the explanation of this mantra and of practically of all the mantras of the Vedic hymns is summarized in the Vedanta Sutra and properly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the Vedic tree of wisdom. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular mantram is explained in the questions and answers between Maharaja Pratik
Parikshit and
and
Sukadeva Goswami.
okay,
Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami.
okay, and at the very beginning of the meeting, hearing and chanting of the signs of God is the basic principle of devotional life. The complete Bhagavatam was heard by Maharaja Prakrit, uh,
Parikshit. Parikshit.
Parikshit and chanted by Sukadeva. Uh,
Goswami.
Maharaja Prakrit inquired from Sukadeva because Sukadeva was a greater spiritual master than any great yogi or transcendentist of his time.
Yeah. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Nicely. So actually, there is this nucleus of devotion, and when we read, then we feel connected to this nucleus, and then there is a exchanges of bhakti rasa when you read. So that's why I'm encouraging everybody to read, so that everybody can take advantage of this nucleus of devotion. Maharaj Parikshit's main question was, what is the duty of every man, specifically at the time of death? Sukdev Goswami answered, Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyas Che Chatavayam. Everyone who desires to be free from all anxieties should always hear about, glorify, and remember the personality of Godhead, who is the supreme director of everything, the extinguisher of all difficulties, and the super soul of all living entities. So actually, Prabhupada is saying that the meaning which this mantra is conveying, this is explained in detail in Srimad Bhagavata. And especially there are 6 questions which are asked by the sages of Naimisharanya to Sutta Goswami. In answer to this, one of the questions of Maharaj Parikshit, Sukdev Goswami answers this one. That we have to continuously hear about the Lord, glorify and remember the Lord, and who is the supreme director of everything, extinguisher of all difficulties, and the super soul of all living entities. So this Ishopanishad is just like a glimpse into the spiritual world, but the real descriptions of the spiritual world is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So-called human society is generally engaged at night in sleeping and having sex, and during the daytime in earning as much money as possible, or else in shopping for family maintenance. People have very little time to talk about the personality of Godhead or to inquire about him. They have dismissed God's existence in so many ways, primarily by declaring him to be impersonal. That is without sense perception. But in the Vedic literature, whether the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, or Srimad Bhagavatam, it is declared that the Lord is a sentient being and is supreme over all other living entities. His glorious activities are identical with himself. One should therefore not indulge in hearing and speaking of the rubbish activities of worldly politicians and so-called big men in society, but should mold his life in such a way that he can engage in godly activities without wasting a second. Sri Ishopanishad directs us towards such godly activities. So that's why, like, Prabhupada has given us this sandwich program. Morning we have to wake up, do Mangalarti, chant 16 rounds, then Srimad Bhagavatam, then we do our occupational duty. Then in the evening, when we come back from occupational duty, again we hear Bhagavad Gita, we do Gaur Aarti. So again, there should be some rejuvenation of spirituality. We'll be tired when we go out and deal with the external energy in doing our occupational duty. So again, we have to come back and rejuvenate ourselves by this evening program. And then so that we can go to bed peacefully, preparing our heart to receive the holy name in the next morning. Yeah. So this is all about like Krishna consciousness, and especially in Grahastha life, people are engaged like this, as Prabhupada is saying, that they have no time to remember God. But actually, a Grahastha life is like a razor's edge. Basically, if you are able to place good foundation, then it will be very opulent. There will be lot of Krishna consciousness, and there will be lot of resources which you can use. There you can do a lot of preaching. But if the foundation is not good of Grahastha life, then it can go in the other direction. Yeah. So that's why, like, we have to be very careful in making choices in this life. So proper choices we have to make. So unless one is accustomed to devotional service, what will he remember at the time of death when the body is dislocated? And how can he pray to the Almighty Lord to remember his sacrifices? Sacrifice means denying the interest of the senses. One has to learn this art by employing the senses in the service of the Lord during one's lifetime. One can utilize the results of such practice at the time of death. Okay. So the essence of this verse is we have to engage our senses in this life in the service of the Lord. Then only we will be able to remember the Lord at the time of death, and we can enter into the spiritual world. So slowly, by the association of devotees, we should increase the intensity of our devotion. And this is a lifetime project to increase our faith that when we chant the holy name, it will purify us, it will solve all our problems, it will elevate our consciousness. So faith we have to cultivate. It's an ongoing life project to increase our faith, because that faith will carry us to Nishtha, and then Ruchi, then Asakti, and then Prema. So that nishtha level at least we have to come, and then it will become very very easy. It will be like swimming in a swimming pool. Spontaneously you would like to increase the intensity of your devotion. So yeah, I think we'll pause here and we'll read the next mantra next time, and then we'll try to have our exam next to next time, which will be I think 20, I think it will be third. Will all of you be available like on 4th June for examination?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. You did not share about your role model. You want to share?
Yes,
Pragyama?
Prabhuji.
Yeah, good.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी हमारे
Hare
रोल मॉडल प्रहलाद महाराज हैं,
So,
क्योंकि
very
प्रभु जी
nice.
उन्होंने भक्ति शुरू से ही शुरू करी थी, और उनके उनके खुद के पिता जो हैं वो उन्हें भक्ति नहीं करने देते थे, पर फिर भी वो अपनी भक्ति में इतने मतलब मग्न रहते थे कि वो दूसरों को भी प्रीच करते थे। और क्योंकि वो भक्त थे तो उनका हृदय भी इतना अच्छा था कि उन्होंने अपने पिता के लिए भी बाद में भगवान से बोला था कि इनके लिए इनको माफ कर दीजिए।
और वो हिरण्यकशिपु को भी मतलब he did not spoke in impalatably. He said tat sadhu manne asura varyadehinam. You are the best of the asuras. So he spoke in such a way कि it looked good to Hiranyakashipu also, and he preached about the Lord to his father, knowing of his demoniac nature. So Prahlad Maharaj is a very intelligent, very classical devotee. And Prabhupada used to say that it is very easy to practice devotion in times when it is easy, but it is that the real test happens when the situation becomes difficult. And Prahlad Maharaj is a perfect example of Lord protecting in every difficult situation. So the Lord personally comes actually. When we cry the name of Krishna, then He personally comes in our life. Himanshu Prabhu, you want to say anything? Or yeah.
नहीं एक्चुअली प्रहलाद महाराज के बारे में काफी डिस्कशन मतलब अच्छे से
लाइन
हो
में
गया
लग रहा था।
नहीं, लेकिन मेरा फर्स्ट इंस्टेंस मतलब जो मेरे मन में आए थे वो हनुमान जी और बाली आए थे। बाली बेसिकली क्योंकि बाली बहुत बड़े दानी थे, ठीक है। मे बी शायद एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के बाद
बहुत बड़े क्या थे बलि?
बाली थे ना, सॉरी बोल रहा कि दानी थे ना।
हाँ, दानी थे, करेक्ट।
तो एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम के बाद हो सकता है कि उनको भी अहंकार आ गया होगा कि मतलब जो भी आता उनके दर पे उनको दे देते होंगे। बट एट द एंड ऑफ द मतलब जब 3 पग भूमि मांगी गई तो उनके पास कुछ बचा नहीं था, तो उन्होंने बोला भाई जो मेरा है वो आपका ही है। तो वो जो सरेंडर की भावना थी आई थिंक वो बहुत मैटर करती है। आज जैसे हम बात करते हैं कि सरेंडर इज एन एलिवेटेड स्टेज, जब आप उस स्टेज पे पहुंच जाते हो तो मतलब एस्पायर करना चाहिए कि वहां तक पहुंच जाए। कई कई जन्म लग जाते हैं वहां तक पहुंचने के लिए। तो हाँ मतलब मेरे को वो काफी सही लगा था, डिवोशन मतलब काफी डिवोशन था उनका विष्णु जी के प्रति। तो
And Bali Maharaj was the son of Virochana. Virochana is the son of Prahlad Maharaj. So actually, like Lord came to correct Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj was a king of the demons, and actually he was a pure devotee. He's one of the Mahajanas, Bali Maharaj. So, but he became, as you said, he became little bit pride. I have so much kingdom. So Krishna wanted to remove that pride. As I think Aman Prabhu was sharing that Krishna, as soon as the pride comes, Krishna vanishes. Even in the rasa dance, like the gopis are dancing, but little bit pride comes in the heart of devotees, and Krishna goes away. So pride is like the mountains which come between us and Krishna. So that is good. Yeah. You were saying something?
नहीं, बाकी हनुमान जी का भी आया था मतलब आई थिंक हनुमान जी का बहुत अच्छा डिस्क्रिप्शन अमन प्रभु जी ने किया था। सो आई थिंक उसके बारे में और कुछ नहीं बोला, बट हाँ दैट मतलब these two were the instances which came जब हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे।
Yeah, yes. Yeah,
Hare
Bali
Krishna.
Maharaj says Hare Krishna. The surrender is really, is really deep topic. There are 6 limbs of surrender. Sometimes we can study that. So as we intensify our discussion, we can study deeper things on spiritual life. Yeah, we can at least take a glimpse how we can advance forward towards Krishna. Yeah. So actually, Vaman Dev, like Prahlad Maharaj comes when Vaman Dev has bound Bali Maharaj with there was a wish, some rope. I'm forgetting the name of that rope, but and Prahlad Maharaj is very happy to see Bali Maharaj bound. He says that this is very good for you, that you will become free from pride now. So Prahlad Maharaj is also not saying that, oh, you have bound my grandson. I used to love him so much. Why are you binding him? He is so dear to me. But actually, he is also looking towards him to do his spiritual welfare only. So many times, like situations will come in our life also as Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj is a very great story. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Divya Mataji, you want to share anything, or Hina Mataji, regarding role models or anything from the class? Otherwise, we'll